Alright guys, TacticalRobbit back again today. Hope you're enjoying your day so far. Not exactly sure when this video is going to go live, but today I want to talk about a very interesting storyline really between Hecz Rodriguez over at the NRG Chicago Huntsmen and Wuskin at the London Royal Ravens. Interesting situation that's gone down over the last few days really, with Wuskin talking about how he's probably benched off the London Royal Ravens squad, what the future exactly holds for him, and a couple of interesting clips really from the Eavesdrop podcast most recently that Hecz did on his channel over there, well, talking about the situation as it stands with the Ravens, but also talking about this storyline where Wuskin was actually going to quit at the end of the Black Ops 4 season, and Hecz managed to keep him in the game. Really interesting stuff, really a credit to Hecz for this, of course, as we'll look at over the coming minutes. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Let's go through Wuskin's things that have happened over the last few days. He says they left without me initially on the 1st of September, follows it up with full-time content creator by the look of it later in the day. Then he says wherever we go hard, looking for his next step, of course, in the Call of Duty League, wherever that may be. The moment you get released, he comes up with right here. And then this one, once again, just a couple of days ago, currently mid-Warzone tourney, but I just thought I'd let Twitter know I'm a free agent. What is next to me, who knows, but yeah, I want to win, that's it. Now, this is really interesting, to be honest, when we do look at these Eavesdrop clips in a couple of seconds here with Ami Shah over at the Rect Global organization, which owns the London Royal Ravens, or at least has an ownership stake in it. And from what it says in this clip, he certainly seems like he wants to keep on, you know, the homegrown British talent, I suppose, on this organization. The fact that Wuskin and Scraps as well may not be on this team any longer is very strange in honesty, and well, we'll just have to see how things develop. It's possible, as we talked about, that Wuskin goes into free agency, and then possibly they try and pick him up back from free agency at a lower salary, because I know the London guys are on an awful lot of money, especially Scraps' salary has been rumoured to be around the $300,000 a year mark, which is obviously pretty incredible, and I'm sure London may want to scale that back if they can, because certainly some salary inflation has been seen to pretty dramatic effect, to be honest, throughout the Modern Warfare season. Wuskin, though, does tweet this out yesterday. Woke up to some of the best news I've received in some time, I can't lie. You'll see it sometime in the next week or so. And, you know, as we talked about here, in the next week or so, does he mean like after a week? Because, as we said, on September the 14th, that's when players can actually start getting signed and announcements can be made. That's when the 2021 season officially does begin. However, we wouldn't even be in this position of Wuskin being a pretty hot prospect in terms of a free agent if he didn't have such a great Modern Warfare season, to be honest. And well, this is what he says on the 29th of August. I just want to say thank you to Hecz. If it wasn't for you, I would never have even played this year, but here we are now. Hope the boys pull through for you. So this is just after the London guys got knocked out of champs by the Chicago Huntsmen, and then Huntsmen went on to lose to FaZe, and then, well, FaZe went on to lose to the Dallas Empire in the grand finals. But this is a pretty interesting storyline that Wuskin, obviously a very emotional player, as we'll look at in a couple of minutes here, as a couple of the guys are talking about, but after the Black Ops 4 champs run that they had, yeah, he was actually considering quitting at Call of Duty professionally, and Hecz, well, had a few words with him and kept him in the game. You were never done, brother, says Hecz. So, you know, fantastic to see, really. Like, of course, Hecz being the owner of the Chicago Huntsmen, like, he didn't have to do this, right? He didn't have to go out of his way to help Wuskin and keep him around the scene any longer, but he certainly did, as we will look at. And, well, this is what some of the discussion on the Reddit was. Hecz spoke about it a few times on the channel. Wuskin was ready to quit following champs last year. He had a talk with Hecz where Hecz basically said, nah, I got him back into the proper headspace to find his home for the league, and obviously had a fantastic Modern Warfare season. Was a great AR early on. The team finally found their rhythm towards the end, and Wuskin wasn't doing quite the same statistically, but that's probably what you want, right? You don't want your AR dropping at 1.4 and everyone else having a 0.8, 0.9. You're not going to win games like that. You need some more, you know, more equality, I suppose, in where the slaying does come from. You've also got to talk about the sniping, right? I mean, Wuskin probably the best sniper in the league, if not top 2. I mean, this guy was consistently dropping. I think he like holds the equal kill record for sniping in the league, or at least like snipes in a single map or something like that, probably with Simp. So yeah, remarkable stuff. I mean, him on Arklov Peak especially was a force to be reckoned with. There was that clip on Piccadilly as well. He got the 4-piece. I mean, this guy does not miss. And well, Infinity Ward games tend to be pretty helpful to him. Infinity Ward back in a few years ago was very good at that game as well on the Fnatic squad. This year, certainly it was a good idea that he stuck around, because even if he doesn't get picked up back to the London Royal Ravens, I mean, maybe some other squad is looking for him. Then again, it is a difficult situation right now being a main assault rifle, right? If you are a main AR in the game, you've got a tough time getting a spot, because there's a lot of main ARs about. There's a lot of main ARs that want positions, and there's only 12 of them in the entire league right now. And how many of them want to play with Wuskin? I mean, you know, that is certainly a question that you could ask. This then is the champs bracket from last year. Reciprocity on that squad last year lost to the OpTic gaming team, then to the 100 Thieves squads. They had a very difficult run of things, to be honest. The two matches that they did lose in this bracket, they end up finishing top 6. Pretty respectable place placing, quite frankly, for reciprocity, given all the circumstances that they went through. These were the statistics just early on in the season. I think this was from the London events way back in February, but Wuskin basically had a 1.4. The rest of the guys were struggling, but, you know, they're not exactly playing the game in the best way if this is the case. But just to show the point that Wuskin definitely had a big bounce back season for him, wanted to share a couple of clips then from this Eavesdrop podcast with Amish Shah, talking about how, you know, the organization, how they like their authenticity as keeping a London brand. That's pretty interesting, of course, as a topic, given that, well, Scraps and Wuskin talking about how they've been they're benched from the team. They're on a free agency situation right now. Jerd is gone, of course. MattG looks like he's gone. So I'm not sure what direction they want to take going forwards. Maybe Shawnee stays. I imagine Dylan CoD stays. Do they look for someone like Alex, potentially from the Minnesota Rocker, to come in and also represent that kind of brand? They definitely want to keep the authenticity, but, well, it just seems like what he says, that Wuskin and Straps are kind of like some of the key elements of his team. The fact that they're free agents is pretty interesting. And then Hecz talks about what he had to say to Wuskin to keep him in the game.
Look at them all as kids, because I'm twice their age, if not more. And I think I feel for them, not just when they play, but when they're not there. And I think Shawnee could tell you more on how we try to you know, help them any way we can, right? I think it's one thing to build the brand, which I think we've done a good job with the authenticity.
Amazing job.
Yeah. And I think if you look at the 4 teams you mentioned you'd have at the top of the year, listen, we're the only non-endemic brand. I mean, you've been in Call of Duty, you're a legend. You've been there forever. Hastro's been there with Dallas Empire, and then FaZe is just FaZe, right? And they've always had a brand. So for us, it was brand new. Granted, we got Michael Odell and Odie leading the charge. Granted that, you know, we think we know what we're doing, right? But it's another thing to be actually faced with a pandemic. And, you know, I feel for the fans. We got the best fans in the world.
Yeah.
And I think I'll top it off is I wish we had a second homestand, or I wish Champs was in London. I think we would give, you know, it would be insane. So
it would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be.
But I'm just happy for these guys. They work so hard day and night since day one when we got Wuskin, Scraps, and Dylan first. We talked about what it would be like to be champs. And that's been the goal, Hector, you know, throughout this whole thing. I know it sounds crazy, even for an organization that's new to the game here, but it was represent your country. That's the other thing we bring.
Yeah.
Right. No other organization, even Paris, can say that because they don't have one French player. But what does it feel like to represent your country? So with that, I'll bring it back to you and Sean.
Just the storylines, obviously, your twins coming back together, and really, I mean, if you look at Wuskin's and the way that he stepped up this year, like Scraps, obviously, is always a given that he's going to be a tank, but after having the year that Wuskin's had last year and coming back to doing what he's doing, like what top sniper, I don't know, I mean. Second top sniper, sure.
Yeah.
But he is disgusting. And as a sniper fan, as you guys can see right there,
I can see it.
I am so happy for him, dude. Because we had a conversation last year at Champs where he was just like, he just wanted to quit. And I looked at him like, you're not ready to quit. And that's all I said. Like, zero chance. You're just talking shit right now.
He's brought that up a few times.
Yeah, he's an emotional player. Yeah, he's an emotional player. I think, you know, that's what you get with Brad. I love his heart, and that's what you get with the twins. And, you know, like I said, I'm just excited for all the fans. We're talking about fans, and we got the Sixth Raven and the fans. And I'm excited for these guys. I mean, yeah, you know, Wuskin, Scraps get a lot of the press because everyone loves that twin story, and they got a great story.
Just before we finish off the video, I wanted to point this out that I saw on Spoonbill. Goonjar changed his bio. Pro Call of Duty player has taken out OpTic Gaming, taken out OGLA, taken out OpTic from his name as well. So yeah, certainly looks like the Goonjar will no longer be on the OpTic Gaming squad next season. Certainly makes sense, of course, but if you're a Goonjar fan, this might not be the best news. He may have had an opportunity as a substitute this season if things went a little bit differently. Of course, Chino got his opportunity to come into the squad. Maybe that could have been Goonjar on a different day, but not going to happen. I imagine he keeps going through challenges because he did have a relatively good season. Another OG, to be honest. He has been around a number of years in the Call of Duty scene. Thank you for watching the video as always. Like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you are new. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.
It's all up to you now. The squad's counting on you. Time's almost up. out the bomb. The bomb has been planted.